Today on Ignite News, your exclusive look at the Makers Market during Supercrawl.
Musicians and artists and restaurants and all kinds of things are happening on the street. It's a very happening place.
All this and more coming up on Ignite News.
Good morning and welcome to your Ignite News for Wednesday, September 18th. I'm Patrick Fenton.
And I'm Chelsea Kaufman. Here's what's making news.
Several people were killed when a bus crashed into a Via train in Ottawa today. It's not clear what caused the collision. Early reports describe witnesses yelling at the bus driver to stop before it hit the train. Transportation Safety Board investigators are on the scene. It took almost 8 hours, but City Council's Planning Committee has voted against landlord licensing fees for the city. Council is opting to improve its current proactive enforcement program to help solve current safety issues affecting tenants. More than 15 landlords and realtors spoke out at the meeting against licensing. They commented on possible consequences of the bylaw and offered alternatives to the proposed plan. Council will ratify the decision on September 25th.
In light of the bylaw's failure to pass, we asked you, Mohawk, where's the worst place you've ever lived?
Well, actually, when I first moved out of my house when I was a young man, we moved into a duplex down on Mapleside, and it was a wonderful place owned by a nice Italian woman, and from there we bought a house, so I've never stayed in a bad apartment.
The worst apartment I ever stayed in, there was no elevator to get up and down the stairs. The walls were paper thin, so I could hear everybody vacuuming and babies crying. And the balcony, it was covered in pigeons where we had to put a metal fence up.
Well, I've only been in one apartment that I'm living in right now. It's not too bad. It could be a little bit better. It's a little small, but you know what? For living in for 1 or 2 people, it's pretty all right. So.
When I was 5, I lived in a house with no air conditioning. That kind of sucked.
Worst apartment would be my first apartment in Brantford. Same reasons, everything crooked, falling apart. Landlord didn't want to do anything. So take care of your tenants, they'll take care of you.
Washington Navy yard shooter Aaron Alexis had a long history of being mentally unstable despite being cleared for duty. Government sources have reported that Alexis suffered from paranoia, a sleep disorder, post-traumatic stress disorder, and that he was even hearing voices. Officials also report that Alexis had bouts of disorderly conduct during his time with the military, but received honorable discharge anyway. Alexis killed 12 people inside a Navy installation in Washington before being gunned down by police.
2 Toronto teenagers saved a man from a burning building on their way home from a new video game launch. The boys had just bought the new Grand Theft Auto game when they came across the burning house. The boys were 16 and 17 years old, kicked down the door and saved the 70-year-old man inside. The man is in stable condition in the hospital after suffering smoke inhalation.
Hamilton International Airport will be performing an emergency drill today. The drill is to help emergency response crews and people who work at the airport prepare for a real emergency. People in the area can expect to hear vehicle sirens and see smoke as part of the drill.
Supercrawl is a big event for Hamilton, especially for local businesses. Ignite News reporter Neil Reyes talks about the impact of Makers Market.
When Supercrawl takes over James Street North every September, the city closes down 5 blocks for musicians, artists, and vendors to fill the street and show off what the city's art community has to offer. Music stages are set up at street corners, and artworks sit in the middle of intersections. Christchurch Cathedral, between Colborne and Mulberry, opens its doors to the community and becomes a venue for Supercrawl events.
Well, we have participated in the art crawl for many years, and so when Supercrawl came, we thought we should participate. We try to look outwards and do stuff in the community.
The kind of music that has been played has been experiential type music, so some of it a little bit different, but we've been doing this probably for the last 5 years.
On a day like today, the garden here at Christchurch Cathedral is a quiet escape from the city. Come Supercrawl, this place is a bustling marketplace. Makers Market occupies the courtyard garden every Supercrawl, giving local artists and vendors the opportunity to grow their businesses. Lisa Bell started her business selling creative buttons at Makers Market. Bell has sold her Nerd Biscuit brand crafts at Supercrawl for the past 5 years.
Supercrawl is my best show of the year. It's my favorite show of the year. I love it. Everyone's just so friendly, and I just love everything about it. I look forward to it.
Artists and musicians relish in the opportunities that Supercrawl offers. Members of the church parish agree that the festival is doing great things for the community.
Musicians and artists and restaurants and all kinds of things are happening on the street. It's a very happening place, and we're really happy as a community, as a church community, to be part of that.
For Ignite News, I'm Neil Reyes.
Online dating site i1chat.com is under fire for using the picture of a dead teen to advertise on Facebook. 17-year-old Ratea Parsons was allegedly sexually assaulted and attempted to commit suicide due to prolonged cyberbullying. Parsons was taken off life support in April. Facebook has since removed the ad and banned the company from posting on the social networking site. The dating site administrator has since apologized to Parsons' family and taken the website down.
Canadian wireless carriers are entering a bidding war for blocks of the spectrum that will improve their broadband access across the country. The big three carriers in the bidding are Rogers, Bell, and TELUS. Some people are hoping that a fourth bidder will challenge the big three. The carriers must agree to allow police and Canadian security agencies to monitor suspects through their networks. The results for the first round of bidding won't be released until the end of September.
With Parliament prorogued until October 16th, the official opposition, led by NDP leader Thomas Mulcair, took question period to Twitter. His first question asked the Prime Minister to clarify how much was known about Nigel Wright's payment of $90,000 to Senator Duffy in the Senate scandal. While the PMO did not respond to the question directly, they did send an email to the CBC that said the Conservative caucus will return for following an active summer, working hard in their constituencies with a renewed focus on improving the economy and protecting the security of Canadian families. So, in a way, question period is running as normal as ever, despite the fact government is not in session. The NDP has promised to continue their behavior online until Parliament is back in session.
In other Ontario political news, this weekend's Progressive Conservative Party convention could be an eventful one. Canadian press reports supporters of leader Tim Hudak are complaining about party president Richard Ciano. They say Ciano is undermining Hudak because he wants the leadership for himself. Hudak is facing pressure after a series of disappointing by-elections.
Now let's take a look at what's coming up in weather, entertainment, and sports.
Thanks, Chelsea. Windsor will see a mix of sun and cloud with a high of 23. London will be mainly sunny today with a high of 23 as well. Niagara Falls will be sunny today with a high of 22. Moving over to Toronto, we will see a high of 22 with lots of sun. And lastly, Hamilton will be sunny with a high of 22. Taking a look into the next 24 hours. This morning will be foggy until the fog disappears later in the morning. It will be sunny with a high of 22. Later this evening will become partly cloudy with a low of 12. Taking a look into the next 5-day forecast. Thursday, we will see a mix of sun and cloud with a 30% chance of showers. We will also see a high of 25. Friday will be cloudy with a 60% chance of showers and thunderstorms. There will be a high of 25 with a low of 18. There will be a chance of showers on Saturday with a high of 19 and a low of 18. Sunday will be a mix of sun and cloud with a high of 18. And Monday, we can enjoy a nice sunny day with a high of 18. And that's all for your weather. Let's check in with Megan for your entertainment update.
Thanks, Ashley. Justin Bieber sent the social media world into a frenzy after posting a photo of the apparent script for Batman vs. Superman. He added even more fuel to the fire by captioning the photo with Robin as the hashtag. However, various media outlets are claiming it's a hoax and it's just a part of a skit for funnyordie.com due to a tweet from the star a few hours earlier claiming he was off to do something funny. Believers seem to be ecstatic about the news, but Batman fans that are still reeling the news about Ben Affleck playing Batman are not impressed. 2 years ago, the movie Insidious stormed the horror scene. Now Insidious Chapter 2 arrives, hoping for the same results as the original. Here with the review is Chris Luckett.
There generally aren't that many good horror movies, and a good sequel to a horror movie is even more rare. Insidious Chapter 2 manages to be one of the best of the last decade. It picks up immediately after the ending of the first movie, when Patrick Wilson's character got lost in limbo, and his family remained unaware that a malevolent spirit had returned and possessed his body. What makes this movie almost better than the original in a way is how the script plays around with time. Wilson's character can affect the real world from within the spirit world, but time reacts very differently over there. In much the same way that Back to the Future Part 2 revisits scenes from the first movie from a completely different perspective, it's crazy how the plot of this movie loops back around with the first one and changes everything you thought was happening in the original. The ending basically guarantees that a third Insidious movie is on the way. Hopefully they find new ground to cover, because as clever as this one was, it did feel like it reused a lot of stuff from the original. Until the next one, though, we can at least be grateful that Insidious Chapter 2 is really scary and almost as good as the first one. That's the way I saw it. For Ignite Entertainment, I'm Chris Luckett.
That's a wrap for your entertainment. It's time to throw it over to Kyler with sports.
Thanks, Megan. The Montreal Canadiens have assigned 10 players to their AHL affiliate, the Hamilton Bulldogs. The 6 forwards, 3 defensemen, and 1 goalie will be able to attend the entire Bulldogs training camp, which is set to begin this Thursday. Center Louis LeBlanc and goaltender Robert Mayer were among the names that were cut. The Bulldogs will open their preseason in Oakville on Friday, September 27th, when they take on the Toronto Marlies. In NHL preseason action, the Winnipeg Jets defeated the Edmonton Oilers 3-2. Michael Frolik, Carl Klingberg, and Anthony Peluso netted goals, and goaltender Andrei Pavelich made 22 saves to help lead the Jets to victory. The Calgary Flames and the New York Islanders played a pair of split squad games, one in Calgary and one in Regina. The Flames won both games by the scores of 5-3 and 4-2 respectively. Calgary's 2013 first-round draft pick, Sean Monahan, scored twice in Regina, helping him on his quest to make the final roster for the Flames. The knuckleball was doing its magical dance as R.A. Dickey and the Blue Jays shut out the New York Yankees 2-0. The Cy Young winning pitcher held the New York Yankees to just 4 hits over 7 innings with 8 strikeouts. Solo home runs by Colby Rasmus and Rajai Davis were all the Jays needed for the win. The Yankees' loss puts them 3.5 games back of the wild card spot. That's it for me with sports. Let's pass it back to Pat and Chelsea.
The town of Northampton, England has a new stalker. A man dressed as a clown from Stephen King's It has been haunting the town. The clown stands on the street holding balloons or hides in drains under sidewalks. The sightings began on Friday the 13th and caused fear and curiosity among the residents. The cryptic Find the Clown posts have developed a following on social media, even prompting one noble citizen to dress up as the clown catcher and follow his behavior. And that's all for your Ignite News for Wednesday, September 18th. For more news coverage, check out our website at ignitenews.ca. I'm Patrick Fenton.
And I'm Chelsea Kaufman. Thanks for watching, Mohawk.